having that. Straight back through, dive bombed him into turn 2, cost them both their first run of qualifying 2. That tactical approach from Moreira left it all down to his final run, and he went on and set. That makes him 16th on the grid. It's not like Manu Gonzalez completely punished him, qualifying in 7th place. Surely he's going to do those 20 minutes together at some stage in the race. The battle for victory. Stand out there, practice form at least, are two Nixon and David Alonso. But there we write off Daniel Holgado and the habit of converting pole position into victory.
Behind remains at 2025. Points covering the top two in the championship. Is it a two-horse race though, as we come into this Malaysian Grand Prix? Aaron Cadet, 35 points adrift to fellow Spaniard. That's Manu Gonzalez. Barry Melton, it looks like it's a big ask for the Belgians to fight his way back in the title contention. That's 42 points adrift to Gonzalez, only 75 left to fight for, of course. So Belgians are going to have to hit some serious winning form. And the two top contenders, Gonzalez and Moreira, are going to have something of a late 2025 collapse, aren't they? But it's to drag Belgians back into contention.
Well, anything can happen in this Moto2 season. There has been another highly unpredictable campaign with 10 different winners and 16 different riders on the podium. 16 is the clear number for Moreira, isn't it? Starts at 16th place on the group. And the only one to come back, or remember the Saxon race, that didn't end particularly well for Diogo Moreira, but he came from 28th on the grid. The battle for the podium at one stage in that race. No question. So aggressive this afternoon.
The 20-year-old Spaniard on pole position. That's the third time the last six Grand Prix. I think was a jaw-dropping lap time. And what a performance it was by Holgado. Top 4 in 6 of the last 8 Grand Prix. Really has caught the eye in the second half of 2025 in particular. One of 5 first-time winners in the Moto2 World Championship this year. We said it's on Moreira himself. Center Aegis is fresh out of his own Grand Prix. Put it by them last weekend. They've had a miserable experience so far here in Malaysia. Almost from the front of the grid, back as far as the 20-odd Australian was concerned. 8th place way down the grid. 23rd place, lowest qualifying. Magello 2024. Well, let's go into the thoughts then on the World Championship. Can he stretch out that very slender pointy surface fierce rival Diogo Moreira? Let's get the thoughts of Manu Gas with Jack.
Manu, this title fight really started to hot up. A great battle between yourself and Diogo in Australia. We saw a little bit of it yesterday as well. Are you ready to carry on the fight now?
Yeah, we are very ready. Let's see what race we will have, because the track will be much different from yesterday with the MotoGP rubber on the asphalt. So I think that it will be faster than we expecting. So let's see the tires. We will need to overtake a lot in the first 2 laps, and then try to be calm in the middle of the race to be strong at the end. Good luck.
Thanks, Jack. Always thanks as well to Manu Gonzalez, who's despite in this high-pressure cooker atmosphere, fighting for the biggest prize of his career. Always welcome the chat, lovely with our Jack down on the grid. Looking very, very relaxed in 3rd place. Well, perfect time. Let's go here from the Prix. The objective is 3rd back. It looks like it's going to be a real racing contention this afternoon. Jake, with Jack.
Yeah, Jake just catching up with one of his crew very briefly beforehand. Obviously, Jake, this race at a much later time of the day. Now it's MotoGP rubber on track, and a lot of variables that you guys weren't planned for. How does that change how you attack things?
First and foremost, obviously, I'm fantastic to see you, as we always say. No, honestly, conditions are a lot different to all weekend. It's a lot hotter, but also the MotoGP that was been out before us, so completely different circumstances to what we're normally used to. Track feels really rubbered in, but I'm expecting there'll be really good grip in the beginning, but then a bigger drop towards the end for us. Our rubber will go on top of there. So let's see, let's get our head down and just do my rhythm that I've been doing all weekend and see where we end up. Good luck, mate. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jake. Speaking Jack up the yard down on the grid. That's an excellent point. Very good point, well made by Dixon. Of course, it's a very unusual scenario. We haven't seen it happen a few times in British Grand Prix. This is a European schedule, but it's so rare that the MotoGP riders get to follow MotoGP. Not very often they get to follow all these bits of rubber that's been laid down on a circuit, which could just change the game ever so slightly.
Yeah, it's against the situation that they haven't been able to practice for
Barry Bowser's still a title contender then. He's 42 points adrift and goes from the front row, the Belgian for Jack.
Barry on the front row, still in title contention as well. How do you feel ahead of this?
Well, it's super hot here. Much more hot than yesterday, so we were trying to understand as fast as possible the condition. And yeah, it's very good for me. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks as always. Congratulations, Barry Bowser. What a year it has been. Clearly a massive breakthrough for the fancy race rider. Points 17 and 19. Denevo has been top 6 podiums as well for the Practice Bowser. Although there's been none in the last 3 since he was second over the line in San Marino. Further down for the Blue Crew, come back Yamaha, Tony Arbolino 5 away from 9, though the 5th time this year Arbolino has qualified inside the top 10. And it was always going to be a tough 17 laps to go to where he decided this Prix, but he made it harder work for himself yesterday.
Slow on the racing line during qualifying. He picked up a 3-place grip penalty here. You're about to see it. Joe Roberts and David Alonso, who were inconvenienced by Nissan. On the podium here last year. Again, looks over to his right. Fortunately, the rider we should have been paying attention to was left. In Joe Roberts, David Alonso went past his pair of them. So the event of Ireland is going to match his podium finish of a year ago here. He has to come from 15th place on the grid. One other rider who's also picked up a grid penalty for behaviour over the weekend. Man on Tola, he also has got 3 places. 18th qualifying, 21st on the grid.
I'm glad Jackson is both changing. I'm going to have to remind him, Jadwal is supposed to be last year. Of course, courtesy of shocking miscalculation by the Brit when he thought he'd taken 3rd place. Unfortunately, miscounted the laps and there was still a lap remaining. They fixed the race across the line. David Alonso, another rider, another contender surely for the podium, if not more, in this Malaysian Grand Prix. For Jack.
David, you had great pace yesterday morning. You feel ready for this?
Yeah, in the race, I hope that they are Moto3 riders and they are good.
Good luck.
David Alonso got his thoughts Antonio Rueda and Noah Detmeyer after the sighting up into in Moto3 earlier. This was how it got really juicy, this is how it got really spicy between Moreira and Gonzalez. And I have to say, as neutrals, we love it, we need a bit of needle, don't we? When you're getting fired up for the World Championship, because that was Moreira going on the inside of Gonzalez into turn 1 and 1 meters later, Gonzalez is out the payback. This is going to go all the way down to why surely is the Ricardo Thomas circuit in Valencia in mid-November. 2 points pushing the boxes.
I've mentioned from Pirelli. I bet you might play a role in this race, of course, with the unusual running order of the Grand Prix that they seem to be the exceptional circumstances earlier on today. Every single rider in the field, soft front, but soft rear.
W safety car then, shade of pit lane. We get set then for 17 laps of Moto2 action. Here is Sepang. The Moto2 field has served up some of the best racing, haven't they, so far in 2025. Starting from 10th place on the grid, an excellent job by the forward faction for Alex Prix. Second time this year that the Valencia rider has qualified inside the top 10. Not too far behind him on the grid, actually, his teammate, Clint Ford Factory Racing colleague Jorge Navarro, the 29-year-old Spaniard, of course, who was second in the Malaysian Grand Prix here last year from pole position, which was Navarro's first pole in 5 long years since Valencia 2019.
Qualifying complete the 4th row in 12th place, the 95. Finally managed to get a grip of his start last time out in Australia, something he really has struggled with so far this year. Regularly lost places on the first lap, but he's finally on top of his problems now.
So, Rick J. Dixon on the front row of the grid for the 6th time in 2025. Can he this time get the laps right and find himself on the back podium? Barry Bowser, still an outside contender for the World Championship, goes from 2nd on the grid. But it's Danny Holgado, the 3rd time the last 6 Grand Prix, that will fire away from pole position. And Will Holgado for the Moto2 hero here in Malaysia.
3 races to go, 2 points in it. Who will be the one champion in the 2025 Moto2
World Championship. Danny Holgado starts from pole position. Pole by half a second yesterday ahead of Barry Bowser and his top 2 of the 3 practice sessions. Alvin Arenas falls ahead of a career best 5th, but Danny Munoz and David Alonso 6th. Manu Gonzalez lines up 7th after a dramatic qualifying. Aaron Cadet next to him and 2022 winner Tony Arbolino completes row 3. Alex Restrict is 10th there, and Joe Roberts had a big crash on Friday morning. Colin Bayer 12th. Forward best combined qualifying for 2025. Jorge Navarro 13th, then Phillips Sebastian Navarro in top 3 places from where he qualified. Diogo Barrera after his debut, Andy Gonzalez 16th, then West after second. Below 10th in the original qualifying game of 6 already. Van Artola, another to drop 3 places from where he qualified. He's 21st. Ron Samantha Gorgo 22nd. Australian winner Federation 23rd. Worst qualifying for 27 races. Marcos Ramirez. Also here, Danny Munoz on the warm-up lap. He's not away, and he was due to start from the middle of row 2.
That's a hammer blow, isn't it, that for Munoz, having qualified 6th place from the Red Bull KTM tyre machine. The Munoz at the moment, a frustrated spectator down in pit lane. Come back to that comfy box position. Can't see Munoz whether he'll be able to get that Callum fired up once he goes. Yeah, he's at the end of pit lane. Thanks very much, Jack. We're just coming in out of here, telling us that Munoz will be ready to go, albeit with a pit lane start, which is a bit unfortunate to say the least. For the Spaniards.
Well, we understand he's touched on the ball randomly on the start of the back of the grid, having not left the grid as the others did at the start of the warm-up lap. Whatever happens, Munoz has blown that opportunity for 6th place on the grid. The 2 points in it between Manny Gonzalez and Diogo Barrera. So much on the line between those 2, and both of them extra pain and come back here in the pack.
Way down the grid in 16th place. Yeah, I can just see out of that comfy box window, a long way behind me in the pack is Danny Munoz, just coming through turns 5 and 6, so the other join the back of the grid. David holding place in the middle of that second row. Alvin Arenas, another Alonso with 1 left line of the confidence on that long one run down to the 3rd corner. There is Barrera then. Well, he is still a title contender, he's still third in the standings, albeit 35 points in the Gonzalez. And there's Malaysian Grand Prix, title winning form, does he, the number 44. Amanda Leaker in the middle of our flyway sequence, his only podium in the last 9 since Anderson. He's been outside the top 6 in 3 of the last 4. We haven't seen Jeanette on the top step of the podium since round 4 in Qatar, which is arguably his only win of the season so far. Munoz is going to be able to take his place on the grid, but he'll have to serve a double long lap. You can just see if he reaches the back of your shot there now, so poor old Danny Munoz, who's done so much great work all weekend to get himself a 6th place on the grid. He's going to have to serve long laps at the end in this Sepang Grand Prix.
No, he is now just being waved through. Yeah, there's an official from Ernst who's waving him through to the front of the grid. He was about to park up at the back of the grid.
It's not easy to win riders having three grids to understand exactly what the scenario is. 2 long laps are coming away for Munoz, who is now sitting right in the middle of the second row. Green flag clears at the back. Holgado, Balton, Dixon in your front row. Gonzalez, the world champion leader on row 3 in 7th place. Lights out a race in Moto2 here in Malaysia. It's a good start for Holgado. Almost in contact those. They run down to the first corner between him and second place. And then Balton. Tony Arbolino's got away really well on the number 14 bikers. Alonso attacked Nick from the brakes into the first corner. Alonso then up immediately up into 3rd place. He was a little bit wide. Nick's got the inside line to try and attack the Colombian once again. But Holgado from pole that lead. Red Bull starter from Johnson, he went right, almost straight into the damage to Alonso. They made contact on the way down to turn 1. So he can get the starter from one of the 60 qualified, but Munoz has plummeted down the order. Really good away by Arbolino, as mentioned, he's already up 4 places from 9 and 4, but 6 rather. And Dixon thought about a move on the inside of Arena, who's gone away from that 4th place.
Third for Alonso, and then Munoz. Pereira up next, only up 1, 6th place from where he qualified. Right past Munoz.
front row of the grid. He started in second place. There is Moreau then at the right, just up on the rear side of Joe Roberts on the 16 American racing bike, and they charge towards turn 9 for the first time. Here comes Alonso on the inside of Dixon. He had a nibble of the brake on the run down into the first corner. He's gone through at turn 9.
Yeah, the evidence of practice is the two riders with the best race pace, Alonso and Dixon. That's why Alonso does get ahead of the 96 on the road. He'll actually get that precedent to Asbar now. We're 1 and 3.
Moreau through on Roberts up in 14 now. And Arbolino is trying to work something out now with Dixon. There is Gonzalez then in 6th place, so he stays 1 place. He's under attack there here from Bowden. Out on the inside of Guevara. It's a real sideline swing, but watching it through the long sweeping turn 14.
Moreau now up to 13th place ahead of Roberts and Navarro on the forward bike. He's on behind Stalax, although I can't see Stalax on the onboard on the Moto3 Practice. He's now passing on the forward bike as Arbolino attacks Manu Gonzalez, so the championship leader coming under Prix here.
Well, that's the position you don't want to be. So easy for the ride on the inside. If he puts it in front there, he's going to get cleaned out. Found him in a early moment there for Manu Gonzalez, but he can see him across his Tony Arbolino. Those two come under line 5th and 6th respectively. Chopping right across the rear side there. Was Gonzalez going down the order, the yellow flag back. Second to 4. It is Joe Roberts on the 16th bike that has got taken a monumental high side here on Friday. That's the morning side as Roberts holds his left wrist.
Look at the top of the screen. He was with Moreira and behind him. On high side on the way out. Lost it there. Then he gets tackled up. And then in the out, ages there. Swerve left to stay out of the way of the American.
That's a horrible crash for Roberts. Definitely what he's done in the weekend so far. On that challenge, Darren Baker's also gone down the road to Danny Munoz. Been to Munoz, so it's been a shocking Sepang Grand Prix for Danny Munoz, having had an issue pre-warm lap, having started from 6th place, he's been a service on that, but hasn't had the opportunity to down on the Grand Prix.
Moreira with his teammate, surely Huertas is going to make life too difficult for Diogo Moreira. They're in the middle of 7 and 8 right now, so if Moreira can get this place done, he'll be into the top 10, he'll then be 1 place behind Connect, and just 3 behind Manu Gonzalez.
Danny Holgado, when he's been leading Catalonia and in Britain, he's led for so long and nobody really knew which way when Holgado was the leader for all 21 laps of Barcelona. He's then racing that in Britain, so if you get clear road ahead to Danny Holgado, well, then you're in trouble, because he's not normally one to pass someone on the city like this. There he is on the 27 bike leading by what's just under a 4/10 of a second clear of Arenas.
And bounce, of course, Moreira will be 5 behind Manu Gonzalez, who won that battle down the straight with Tony Arbolino. Then the coming picture at the back of the shot. So Moreira once again is through to come back.
Red flag out. We've got a red flag. Red flag has been thrown. And now there was a clash, wasn't there? We saw a clash. Well, we saw Darren Baker and Gavin Daniel involved in it. Joe Roberts also, we saw a clash out of contention. So as we were about to complete lap 2 of 17 here in Sepang, this pivotal Moto2 contest between Moreira and Gonzalez at the top of the championship has been halted. We have a red flag. We're inside the first few laps, so they will be joined. There is some good that's back into Moreira that, having gone up into second place on the first couple of laps. This makes our time that Munoz didn't rejoin the race after whatever incident occurred to himself and down to Norris Place at the moment on a 3. It's because of that, a rider or a bike that potentially on the road sprinting, they couldn't get the field, have the opportunity to come back round before whatever. Also Lopez really had some sort of problem. We didn't see him go down, so he's done anything to do. Once again, fight back to the pits as soon as possible. It looked like Joe Roberts was a wide as well, trying to get himself back to the pits, because he might not have an opportunity to restart. He was absolutely dropped by Lopez's bike, where it's sort of in the dark really about what could be the reason for this red flag disruption here in Sepang. There's no obvious signs of a crash that's come the way of the Spanish rider Alonso Lopez. He's marching now at the side of the track. So Danny Holgado is going to have to do it all over again.
Like due to Roberts' crash is what we're seeing on the screens, but unless he dropped some gravel on the racetrack, Danny Munoz on our screen has a contained pit, we're being told, and the Joe Roberts is hobbling back to his box because he's recognising that he might have opportunity to restart this race.
Here is the Roberts moment coming out then of the final corner. He's just looking behind Navarro. You can see that was a real nasty one, wasn't it? For Joe Roberts.
bring anything over onto the racetrack when you crash. So we're still trying to sort of piece together ourselves as to what's going on. But he's gloves on. There's the bike being retrieved from the outside of the final corner. So
That's the reason for the red flag, maybe perhaps. Maybe it's facing up for the margin.
maybe the rider going through that final corner, top speed, getting back onto the main straight with that England on the outside of the final corner. Understanding the momentum today, race direction taking course on Speedway will reopen once again for a quick restart in 5 minutes time.
So Joe Robinson's crash then has brought out the red flags in Malaysia. Back on the way into London now, I've got 5 minutes time. So we'll be back over for a quick start procedure.
They'll cut a third off the distance if reading the rule book properly, so we'll have a shortened Grand Prix. We'll make it 11 laps. We'll get full confidence back shortly when it comes upon our time to actually a couple of laps of this Grand Prix. If we do get a shortened restart to this Malaysian Grand Prix, again, that's bad news for Diogo Moreira, of course, has a lot of space break. I mean, it is an 11 lap Grand Prix coming up. This is the Munoz Victor crash, I think, that we're going to watch coming into turn 2. It looks like Munoz has tanked the rear tyre of the Graffiti rider.
Looking forward there as well, Munoz getting jumped into the mid pack. There was contact there, Binder on Sasaki's rear tyre, and then the domino effect behind them. Both of the pair of them actually really lucky there because a lot of bikes still to navigate through that very tight turn 2. Danny Munoz has been able to return to the pit lane on his Red Bull KTM machine, and Darren Binder starts to digest with his Graffiti crew exactly what happened to him in that tight second corner.
That's the worst possible for Diogo Moreira. Two things happened to him here. First of all, he's gone back to where he started, back into the 16th place on the grid, although that may get promoted one of the on start. And of course, he's got less time now to make up the ground. Previously, he had 17 laps to come back through the lead of the grid. Now he's only got 11.
Also, Moses might be looking for it here, but rather than his run back, let's go back down to Jack in pit lane for an update.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at all of the guys that sort of crashed out or had technical problems that you say. Darren Binder in the back of the box, but there's no bike for him yet. The only Pan American racing team guys are running up pit lane to try and recover Joe Robertson's machine. Feverish work going on Danny Munoz to try and get a pit ready. And Alonso Lopez did manage to come down pit lane, having got the bike restarted. They're having a big check on it now to try and work out what the problem was.
Very much Jack. There's a positive in the glass half on the far Alonso Lopez is concerned. That stricken Triumph 765cc bike has got back to the speed of garage. Now we're trying to get that fixed up ready for the restart. Diogo Moreira then. Of course, that was the championship standings when the red flag came out. Well, of course, we're going to revert back to as we were before it was like that for this Malaysian Grand Prix. So it's 2 points is actually the gap. Mano Gonzalez has not jumped up to 258 points from 247. I'm sure he would like to leave Malaysia with a 7-point advantage over Diogo Moreira. But of course, that was a graphic that was correct at the time the red flag came out. So don't worry, there's been no work. No more calculations. Yes, we're back to 2 points between Gonzalez and Diogo Moreira. Darren Binder's crashed Brazilian machine has made its way back to pit lane.
Diogo Moreira was looking like going. I'm sure he had only 2 points behind Mano Gonzalez. Last time I checked, not 7. Darren Binder back in the box. Saw there the bike that fell off, being retrieved back. So it looks like there's an awful lot of damage to it, but he might get lucky. The pit lane will reopen in just over 90 seconds time. And of course, as this procedure once more registered, it will be from the outset. The pit lane will be open for 1 minute for a sighting lap ahead of an 11 lap Malaysian Grand Prix now.
Now the doors closed on Darren Binder's Moto2 career. 2026, hearing a few reports, he might be talking about maybe going to British bikes now late. Moto America may be the destination for Darren Binder in 2026. Whatever the endeavours after South Africa, we wish him well, of course. Jake Dixon will have to do it all over again. He had just lost third place to David Alonso. That is that Grand Prix. Alonso Lopez then was something with the race. Jackson telling us from down in pit lane.
So if Danny Munoz is able to restart this Grand Prix, because it's essentially a brand new race, he will no longer have to comply with the double long lap penalty, but they can get his bike back
from running then. Munoz has got a second opportunity. Helpman rebuilding now, isn't he? That's the case. Albert Arena, well, he made a really good start for the second row of the grid. Fourth place. He was second on the road when the red flag came out behind Danny Holgara. Let's get an update on Danny Munoz for Jack.
Yeah, the bike is ready to go. Thanks to some of the Moto3 people who are getting in and helping the Moto2 guys to get that 17 bike prepared and ready to go.
On deck then for Danny Munoz, he'll be back in fifth place. We're in pit lane opening in 12 seconds. Manu Gonzalez, these riders have got to get on with it. Manu Gonzalez, the picture there, didn't he? I think the team was saying, want to get that tyre warmer off and get Manu Gonzalez ready. Fortunately, the Moto2 Practice are right at the end of pit lane, so they don't have far to go to get out onto the racetrack. So I hope they cut their time, correct? Sure they have. Not enough technical for the people who jump backwards. Manu Gonzalez, a little bit. Moto2 riders again, that's a quick start for the obviously, now then, that's 7 laps. Let's try and make it back onto the rollers. He's going to fire into line. And hoping he can fire himself into close contention and mixed contention in this restarting Malaysian Grand Prix Moto2. He's your world champion leader, Manu Gonzalez. This lane will close 20 seconds. Number 18. Road Dramas makes his way out of pit lane. All the hard work, all the stress of the start in the Grand Prix coming back. Rivera, well, he's not stored a trouble in the first couple of laps from 16th on the grid initially. He has started to work his way nicely up towards the top 10. Darren Binder, unfortunately, his bike is not ready for him to rejoin, so that's at least one rider who didn't start the original race when we start. British Dan from Jack and Joe Roberts will also not take the restart. And yes, there are three bombs banging off that race. So let me know if Darren Binder joins the action in Malaysia. Barry Baltus didn't really capitalise on that second place in qualifying. Did he yesterday in the initial start? Baltus was down in 7th place behind Manu Gonzalez when the red flag came out. So a bit of a reprieve really as far as Baltus is concerned. He will tell us, well, I was capable of producing another sprint recovery like I did in 25 last time when it came from outside the top 20. That's podium contention. Danny Munoz, well, he's got away with one there. I really have got away with one. Inadvertently. Through no action to be done. It was the other technical issue before the initial start. And we're going to have to do a double on that. He crashed in that Grand Prix with Darren Binder. And then because of the red flag which they go on, crashed out anyway. The outcome of it all is that Danny Munoz will still be in 6th place on the grid for this 11-lap race without the pain and punishment to come with a double long lap. Might be possible later on. Let's look at the look again. Today he had a dreadful start, even when he did rejoin his good position earlier on. So looking outside our commentary box window as the riders pull up onto the grid once again, we'll have no Darren Binder on the grid, no problem. One of the riders between Gonzalez, Canet and Ferreira on the grid. So although he will start from the 16th place grid slot, Ferreira is essentially 15th on the road as they leave the grid. So here comes Manu Gonzalez back to 7th place onto the grid. Lopez starting to. That break issue which put Lopez on what he feared and put him out of this Malaysian Grand Prix. He orders another ride against the referee as well. A fun weekend for Honda. Lopez the other qualified in the top 10 of the last 7 of at the start in these Moto2 back in 2025 as many others expected. He went challenging again. 3rd time the last 7 he's going to be starting outside of the top 20. There's a lot of pace on the way over the end of the 3 weeks. So the warm up then underway. We've got 11 laps in this restarted Malaysian Moto2 battle. And coming up shortly, that is now the corrected championship standing graphic. Ferrari did not lose 5 points because of the red flag. Still 6 points for the industry. Manu Gonzalez, 35 back in Canet, a further 7 back in Barry Baltus. Likely our world champion is going to come from one of those 4 names on your screen right now. 15 points behind Baltus, which of course makes him 57 adrift as Gonzalez is Jake Kingston. Jake Kingston is always a wild up to calculating for the admittance. right, you'll be able to overturn a near 60.7 minutes of 75.754.
Right, managed to focus their concentration here to many of these Moto2 riders will have been at the circuit since around 8 o'clock this morning due for a race at 1:15. It is now 10 to 5 in the evening as Moto2 now go racing.
All begins about 7:30 this morning, and with it, a special summit taking place in that nearby Kuala Lumpur. The American president is present here in Malaysia. Right onwards. Kuala Lumpur into a security lockdown, so we will have the travel advice warning to leave the nearby hotels early on this morning because there are going to be several roads potentially blocked off from the most of the circuit. Around 20. So just about starting to set off in tuning distance. Gorgeous hot day here in Sepang. No question, it's been a hot day on the weekend so far. The race distance, you don't tend to carry as much fuel as what you had done for the initial start. Of course, you're hoping as well that your crew chief is judging for benefits. I've got some fresh rubber to throw in on these bikes as well for the 11-lap restart. That can always be a factor of play when racing gets halted so early on. Barry Bell's to get the second crack at it from second on the grid. He didn't really capitalise on it the first time around, and he Moreira then back in P16. That'll be frustrating for the Brazilian. Now we're going to get the green flag clearing very, very shortly in at the Sepang International Circuit. Almost 5 p.m. local time now in the afternoon here in nearby Kuala Lumpur. So it's Moto2 take 2 here in Malaysia. Lights out, the racing once again in Moto2 here. And once again it's Danny Holgado making a great start from that pole position. He starts to the right hand side of the circuit to try and fend off the hard charge of Reynas and Dix on the run down. Tony Arbolino's got a great start once again from the line. Arbolino's got his inside the top 5 once again. Around the outside, a bit of a precarious situation there goes Gonzalez. Dix to the medium in second place. Gonzalez looks like he's fit.
Just got a big moment there in the middle of turn 2 as he tries to hang on to his big place. He's got Granite Moreira away. He started the big one this time. Was Aaron next back to 30.
Obviously into turn 4 for the first time. They're going to stand there on the front end. That fourth Holgado, he grabbed the handful of right. They still lead the zone from top position. In second. Eric Manuel Gonzalez got an excellent first lap. Time around on the Alex machine. Gonzalez 7 to 4.
Got his work there by the first sector. Down the point. Plays the check behind Oscar Lopez. There he is. In contention. Been a miserable first lap for the E44 as he's desperately trying to stay in front of contention. Down
from 5th to 15th. Gonzalez is not be close up to attack Reynas. Reynas will be close enough to attack Dix. They're only in third 9. Reynas sent up into second place.
Alonso is getting side by side there with Gonzalez. Of course, not wanting to get too much of what's going on ahead of him. And Dixon takes a very tight inside line there into 11 to get back up the inside of Reynas. This is placing it into the hands of Holgado.
Corner speed for the Gonzalez is carrying around the outside, going a long way around as they drop down through the high speed zone 12 into Reynas. Drop across the road, so Dix still trying to come back to the inside line, going through 40. Gonzalez being right out to try there. And on the outside of the Dixon, Reynas melee. Coming through also was Alonso. So Gonzalez now pushing about back down in 6th.
Yeah, I wanted the way Manuel finished it off all wrong, which didn't work out for him. Wrong place on the racetrack at the wrong time. He's at the inside of Alonso now. He's certainly appearing to take some risks. But what is on the line here for Manuel Gonzalez? You cannot afford to be a left here.
What this is braving the extreme from Manuel Gonzalez. Going on the front foot here, he's going on the apprentice. Trying to put that more qualifying with trying to rival Moreira. Moreira's up into 11th place. Good start then, charging back to the field. But oh, look at the Arsenal. Gonzalez goes in hard. He's really, really wide. Better be careful here. Dirty when you go wide on the marbles on the outside of turn 1. Reynas then back through. Alex Prix having a great ride in 7th place at the moment.
Moreira's only 4 bikes behind Gonzalez now. Gonzalez 6, and Prix, Arbolino and Guevara. So the 3 riders between Gonzalez and Moreira have gone from 16 to 15 for the rider out of the way, up to 10.
They've got as low as 15. He's working his way back through up into P13 now. He's just behind Bernard Sosa. You just see now Holgado and Dixon just starting to make a little bit of a bolt here at the front of this short 11 laps. Another Alonso looking at back-to-back bogey. He's open to the third time. He was on the roster last time. He's pretty violent.
While you're forward Barrera, I think they contact with the rear tyre there of Guevara, who's up ahead of him. It looked like it was a little bit of a shot. He was a long pass. Barrera, obviously, he's not got as much time now to make up the ground before qualifying.
He's around some hard charges at the moment. Salah is directly behind him. He's got the two Pramac Bluetooth Yamahas ahead of him, Guevara and Arbolino. He has just about been able to send off Salah behind him. That's what he was drawing Australian Grand Prix last weekend, but he aggravated his shoulder. He got off the front again there, and he got off the front again.
What's into the middle of 6? So this is the left-hander of 5. You're going to see a little tap, I think, here from Barrera to the rear tyre of Guevara. Right there, he saw a little smoke pop off. That could have ended an awful lot worse for both of them.
That could have been a massive moment. That could have been such a massive moment in the challenge as far as Barrera has come through. That was really, really close. That was as far as Barrera is concerned. Gonzalez at the moment contacting Alonso about him ahead of him. Also goes a long way to open the rain out.
They have been changed points on this lap. Gonzalez has passed the rain out so far on this lap. And Barrera's through finally on Guevara. So they are now 5th and 9th as we complete lap 3. And Jake Dixon closing quickly on the rear side of Holgado now.
Special memorial helmet on his granddad. Of course, passed away recently. That's all the inspiration and the motivation to Malaysian Grand Prix. Guevara is fighting back. He's taking this fight to Barrera. He doesn't see that 9th place back.
Randy Holgado said yesterday on qualifying, he was in great place once he goes to qualifying. I think we'll see the evidence of that here. Dixon was super strong yesterday morning in practice. His race rhythm looks superb, and he now takes the lead from the Aspar rider, former Aspar rider, then current Aspar rider, and Dixon hits the front.
Excellent move on the place there. Barrera back in this time. Top 5. He's having a low with Guevara. His confidence so much further, isn't it? He's still than Barrera potentially, so he's got the pace to make the drag himself into complete contention here. But that pace of Guevara will not let him have it, will he? There he is now. Barrera on the tail line. And he's got through Guevara. There's another Blue Yamaha story back in the hands of Tony Arbolino.
Quickly into the right-handers of 7 and 8. What's the top of the picture? The full hand trying to overtake 14. Falcon closing up behind Alonso. Looks the more competitive at the Aspar Euro at the moment. Holgado in 2:05.0 on the last lap. We're right on board then with Barry Falcon, of course, number 7, still mathematically in title contention, and all the riders ahead of him in the championship are currently behind him.
Second sector alone, he's somebody 3 tenths per second on Holgado. He's found another 10.5 almost in the third split as well, so he's very, very quick in the next having to turn forwards. A gap Holgado by almost half a second in 2 sectors on this lap 3 of 11. We're looking at the battle for third at the moment between Alonso and Bowden. Bowden's not going to be close to Santa Columbia on the break into the final corner. Big switch there on the front 10 for Alonso. He's done really well to get that one all back up until the apex on the inside. So over the line we go. That was a big lap 3. That from Dixon at 2:04.7 was 8 tenths faster than Holgado.
Holgado in turn 8% slower than his teammate Alonso too. Aspar sent nobody to in for quick and Holgado today. Stabbing Alonso. Barrera has now cleared both of the Blue Crew Yamaha Boston Scorosa. He's 8th and in his personal best last time round. And he's got time to pass the Gonzalez group.
That's Dixon, Alonso and Bowden at the moment in the 2:04. That's a stealing on pace at those 3 at the moment. This was Tony Arbolino having a big moment on the front 10 there. Boston Scorosa standing there. And copying all the drive on the exit third 9. That was easy to right for Barrera, just easy uphill advantage going through 10 and 11. Just look at how quickly Barrera is able to spring away from the Italian behind him. So Barrera at the moment 8th on the road, next to the sideline to the Alex Dawson. That gap is over 8 tenths of a second.
It's all the worst red flag in the top corner of the screen. They always need to replay. You'll have worked out by now that there isn't another red flag. The race is still running, and this is now the battle for third place. So might be get up the road, clearly think they quickly to each other. Then Barry Balfour, 20 rounds taking his place on the podium. Dixon's advantage through the halfway point of this lap. Now 8 tenths of a second over Dane Holgado. And this is the Jake Dixon metronomic race rhythm that he promised when he was so strong yesterday morning.
Down the field, it's going from bad to worse for Alex Nash. What on earth has happened to get this? Racing world title hosting a team series, the second done here in Sepang. He's just been picked off by Colin Via, not even for a point scoring place. Via then, rather it is, it's got to be 16. Connect then from back to 17. Absolutely beautiful performance so far by the fans. Great tonight.
Closing up on at 3 to the top of the picture. That is 7 and 8. Arbolino has very quickly lost contact with the Brazilian inside. Makes now 9%. He's got his 7 in his first momentum coming for his fourth start. Of course, Salah red flag now.
Red flag again, is that I think quite graphic. I think what is the game. Heart in the mouth. Apologies for all of you watching at home, but we saw the red flag graphic, and there is not a red flag displayed in full content.
Red flag making play for Radio the race at the moment. Moment there for Alonso. He's brought one out there with his big moment in the middle of turn 1. Alonso looking a little uncomfortable. But now another big moment coming out of 2.
For moments left and right and centre, everywhere you look in this battle at the front of this Grand Prix, we almost lost Alonso and Balton out of third and fourth in the space of about 150 metres. Big scared for the pair, that's Black Gonzalez right there with Herrera as we saw him he's got the pace, he's ready on the street, he's closing in on the street. Seventh place, 205.537, he's the best lap of the Grand Prix. That was only 2 tenths slower than Rainer ahead of him.
Best of his Grand Prix career at 3. 17 Argentina, early in the season. To the riding, he seems to really enjoy the flyways, doesn't he? Lean forward, the racing rider. Yep, well, he figures that one out. Incorrect graphic, there is no red flag. They are free to race. But those 2 moments at the start of the lap for Alonso and Balton have just reversed us back towards Manny Gonzalez once again.
Shows that one is right in the check. Brilliant. On that rear tyre is Alonso and Balton for that kick with the power. Almost sent to the moon, the pair of them were on board with Balton, looking back to Gonzalez. Gonzalez then, and where is his risk reward ratio right now as Balton comes to tight inside line at Drew 14. Beautiful miss that from by Balton. Snap back into that fourth place. Again, Nixon in at behind him was his teammate David Alonso. Dixon's advantage and over a second for the first time in this Grand Prix.
That's the watch, an 11th lap race, of course, the race also used that red flag after Joe Roberts' earlier crash, so that's the lead that Dixon will back himself to manage from there, and we spoke about him being a famous mathematical championship contention. He would not be eliminated in the total conversation if he put the flag out now. He would still mathematically be in the equation with 2 races to go.
Never say never. So the flat lane is not quite warming up just yet. Dixon then now charging down towards turn 9. His lead 1.2 seconds over Holgado. Gonzalez, well, he's had one attempt to take 4th place back from Bowden, which didn't work out at the third corner at the start of this lap 7 of 11.
Yeah, Bowden would go ahead of his teammate Aaron Canet in the World Championship into 3rd. Dixon would take 4th. Canet's World Championship hopes are disappearing. We would see Sepang Malaysia, as Matt mentioned earlier, here in Malaysia, still not in the points. Still down in 17th place, doing 206.
Like he's doing some serious damage. Starts at 1 place behind Manu Gonzalez, is making much more of a fight for him in terms of the podium battle. Bowden said it is, but hanging on to this 4th spot. Dixon comes through turn 15. Gap between Holgado and Alonso is getting down to what's going to be 1.5 seconds in this. We finished this current lap. In fact, Alonso, he's going to be putting up a big threat here to take that 2nd place away from Holgado. Another 205.3 from Dixon, which is really rapid pace.
Well, 5-2 though, with Diogo Moreira has got plenty still in the tank. With 4 laps to go, he's crashing quickly. Albert Arena took half a second out of him on the last lap. And Moreira was nearly a second quicker than Gonzalez on the last lap. So Manigas might not be finishing ahead of his champion contender. His own by time continues.
Dixon winless since round 3 at Austin in Texas. Felt like an awful long time since he's been on the top step of the podium. Oh, Gonzalez, 4th Series A. That's not what he's kind of old locomotive tactic you want to be seeing. That was a big hit there, wasn't it? For the World Championship. Moreira, 8.5, 7. Moreira, charging towards Alvin Arena to 25. Clear side now. Spaniard on the 75, like I'm not sure about too much longer. However, still needs to cling on to this big spot because Moreira has much better pace.
Where Moreira has a goal to have one Guevara's retiring this Grand Prix. Is he going to take the ultimate run? Not from there. He does have to weigh up the risk and reward too at this stage with a World Championship to fight for.
Probably on the moment of possibility that he might be able to have time to hunt down Gonzalez. He's Gonzalez there, 3.5 laps remaining just up ahead of him.
That will also take the 2nd place somewhere on the road. That's far out of the switch to the lead. On this side screen, left-hand side, the 80's now ahead of the 27. We haven't seen it on screen, but David Alonso's taken 2nd. Diogo Moreira is now taking 6th.
Holgado has not had the pace in the last 3 or 4 laps, but he already eaten up that Ronnie rubber underneath him. That was coming, that was a move that Moreira had been threatening. Now then, right, game on as Arena got the Moreira have it. In fact, Arena got the inside line here going into turn 15. This is the battle that Moreira thought he would. Arena's going to go charging in those flameways. Moreira just cuts the inside line. Well, there were 9 places between Moreira and Gonzalez on the grid at the start of the short 11-lap Grand Prix Malaysia. There's now just 1 between the pair of them. Gonzalez 5th, Moreira in 6th place. So many priceless points up for grabs in the World Championship. Moreira will be losing 1 point as it stands to Gonzalez. 3 between the two of them with 6 to go.
Not just points that number around, psychological scoring points that they're doing at the moment. Scoring qualifying yesterday, they were proving a point to each other in the race. This was the move, it was into turn 9 as we were watching the Moreira battle with Arena. Alonso from the inside of Danny Holgado. That 2nd place finish has been on the card. Coming for the asphalt.
Gonzalez at the moment has nothing about it, does he? Has not really. I mean, he made 1 move at the first corner on Bowden. Fair to Gonzalez, I think, had that big front end again, probably just erring on a little bit of side of caution here. Can't afford though, can he, to let Moreira get through it? He just cannot. It felt like a real big opportunity for Gonzalez to stretch out that 2-point advantage with such a chasm between the pair of them on the grid. But Gonzalez got it all on here, 2.5 laps remaining. Hold on, that's 2-6, 6 flights.
as the gap will come down to 40 points. So far to the margin for the difference between the top two in the championship. Every point is priceless.
Talk about damage-limitation exercises. This has been a 3-1 activity here by Herrera. 16-6. Probably was anticipating on him. Recover a top 6, that'll be an excellent job, well done. Manu Gonzalez is plenty for that. Just going to roll on and on until Gardo. Manu Gonzalez has crashed! Manu Gonzalez has crashed out of the Malaysian Grand Prix, and that is a massive, massive swing in the World Championship. It's at the moment that Manu Gonzalez will regret in 2025. He's clearly thrown the initiative, he's handed the initiative to his chief championship rival, Diogo Moreira. The biggest moment of 2025 in Moto2 has just unfolded here in Malaysia. Manu Gonzalez clashes out of fifth place, 1 place ahead of his closest championship rival, Diogo Moreira. 9 points in now, Triple P ahead of Moreira going to Portimao in 2 weeks' time. Gonzalez has rebounded, but how big, how crucial could this be?
Enormous. Holgado had already made his mistake further on the road, but a bigger mistake for Manu Gonzalez. He's still running, but he's 25th. He's not going to score any points from there. And Diogo Moreira, who has never led any kind of Grand Prix Motorcycle World Championship, he is about to seize the Moto2 World Championship lead with just 2 more races to go. Barry Bowden will also very much keep himself in championship contention with that. He's battling with Holgado for third place. The third place he has now taken. So Bowden will have his place either, but it is advancing Moreira now with 2 Grand Prix to go after this one.
Moreira cannot believe his eyes. He probably can't believe what he has just witnessed. As Manu Gonzalez, now the former Moto2 World Champion, Gonzalez has led this title chase to 17 of the only 90 Grand Prix of the campaign. When he's cracking, he's pushing at the worst possible time. Still not over, of course. Still 50 points on the ground in Portimao, and in Valencia, there's another big push there for Manu Gonzalez. Wow. Well, this is a game changer. This is a massive hatred swing in favour of the Brazilian Moreira. Wow. Wow, what a moment.
Unbelievable. Barry Bowden has cleared Holgado and now got on the road. Don't think Moreira's going to catch Holgado because Kyle further pace here than Gonzalez. In 4th position. Holgado's pace is really from top. He brings the lap for us. The final lap here with Jake Dixon, who he himself will not be eliminated from title contention today. We will still have 4 contentions, but it's 1 big time towards the Brazilian today.
2025, he knew he was not going to make the same mistake twice. Jake Dixon has not been counting the laps on this occasion. He starts his final lap almost 2 seconds clear of Sal Alonso. This is going to be a very, very emotional victory for Jake Dixon if he can get the job done. His beloved grandfather, Ray, passed away in the summer break earlier on in 2025. He is wearing a special helmet in memory of his great grandfather. Well, he's doing him proud at the moment, isn't he? As he's on course for his 3rd victory of the season. Diogo Moreira potentially on course to capture the Moto2 World Championship in 2025. This Sepang Grand Prix has been so important. Moreira, this is going to be the biggest 5th place of his life.
Came from 16th place on the grid after his nightmare qualifying. It suddenly swung back in his favour. Bowden then still holds 3rd place ahead of Diogo Moreira. Bowden will be 35 points back with 15 still to play for. Dixon 41 points behind with still 50 to play for. As far as Aaron Canet is concerned, points to be mathematically eliminated. He'll score 1 point, so he will be 44 points back. We're all on scoring to him at today. Moreira, who's the big winner in terms of the championship. Jake Dixon a sector away from Grand Prix victory.
Gonzalez is going to finish Grand Prix last. So much to contemplate for Manu Gonzalez, who came into the Grand Prix podiumless in the last 5, winless in the last 10, coming to Malaysia. His World Championship form has completely deserted him at the worst possible moment. Jake Dixon, though, the tears are going to be flowing inside that special helmet, aren't they, at the moment, for the 29-year-old Brit, who has done Grandad Ray proud here in Sepang as Dixon crosses the line with a beautiful stand-up wheelie. What a moment for the Dixon family. Jake takes the spoils in Sepang by 2 seconds from David Alonso. What an emotional success for the British rider. Barry Bowden keeps his title home to another podium finish in 2025. Olgado placed for pole, down to 4th place. Diogo Moreira over the line in what is unquestionably the biggest and fifth place, the most important 11 points he's ever taken in his Grand Prix career. Fifth over the line goes Moreira, as Manu Gonzalez surrenders the lead in the World Championship after crashing out late on at turn 15. That is huge. That is the biggest race of 2025 so far in terms of the World Championship. We have a new Moto2 World Champion leader with 2 to go in Brazil's Diogo Moreira.
Manu Gonzalez had led the World Championship since Jerez. He loses it today. Dixon dominated in truth that shortened Malaysian Grand Prix since he cleared Danny Holgado in the early stages. There was no touching it. Great result for David Alonso in second place. It's Dixon's day in the setting sun in Malaysia. It's good to be putting the camera for Jack. Lucio, I'm sure you're over the moon. Good so desperate to get one more victory in the Grand Prix paddock. And what a place to do it.
Yeah, well, it's a busy weekend. Every morning, so it's unbelievable. I'm so happy because it is the paddock with the best zero in Moto2. The biggest number of victory was 0. So not bad for a team with a new bike. Yeah, they also put in all the mercy of the Moto2, so great job from everyone, from the manufacturer, all the team.
Huge congratulations.
Thank you guys. It almost feels as this is one of the truths I love the it almost feels like this was Dixon's state of destiny today, having chosen this Malaysian Grand Prix for that special helmet in memory of his granddad Ray. Well, as we said, Dixon did him proud. What a moment for the World Superbike boundary. Of course, Aston Beckett for Dixon in 2026. He'll be part of Honda's official factory World Superbike team. Bigger picture though in terms of the World Championship in 2025. Why? Jadwal was always Jadwal, but now Diogo Moreira has that massive mistake by Manu Gonzalez. Manu Gonzalez already had to deal with some disappointment in 2025, having missed out on a potential move to the MotoGP World Championship in 2026. Diogo Moreira's been use that feature on the Honda next year. Will he tip Gonzalez to another big prize in 2025? Will Moreira move to MotoGP as the Moto2 World Champion? Leads the World Championship for the first time. What a time to do it as well. What a time to do it with Grand Prix remaining in Portsmouth and in Malaysia. We are potentially looking at history. Never in any class in Grand Prix history has a Brazilian ever won a Grand Prix title. It's now in Moreira's hands.
But he saw how pumped he was when he crossed the finish line. He knows how significant that result is today, and so does Manu Gonzalez. Was set to expect to win 2-3 points as it is inside line. It is in Manu Gonzalez's hands, of course. If he wins the final 2 races, he is world champion, but he is handing the initiative over to Diogo Moreira. A comeback that not as dreadful, really, surely, when the race was sorted already. Some 3 rows on the grid behind Manu Gonzalez. John wouldn't have dreamt that he'd be leading not only the championship, but by 9 points.
What a day. What a day for Moreira. What a day for the Caltrans Racing team. Of course, they are recent Moto2 World Champions, aren't they? With an air back all the way back in 2020. So there it is. It's a big swing. It's a massive swing in terms of the World Championship. 11-point swing in favour of the Brazilians. He knows. We all know just how huge that was. No wonder that is a fire and wine as this class you've never seen a rider in team celebrate a 5th place quite as much as that. There is always 2 sides to the story, 2 sides to the coin. Pure elation for Moreira and the Caltrans Racing. Nothing but pure dejection and frustration from Manu Gonzalez and the Dynamo Impact GT. Was that, or is that the moment you're watching on screen? The moment where the World Championship slips out of the grasp of Manu Gonzalez. There's been a couple of scares already in that Grand Prix. We've seen him at the front previously on that Calix machine. On that occasion, there was no bringing it back. And of course, what this all means is history could be achieved next time out at the Algarve International Circuit in Portimao. Will we get our first ever Grand Prix World Champion?
Champion in Portugal in a couple of weeks' time. Congratulations to Jake to know. You'll be afternoon today. A couple of other fun notes from the Grand Prix today. Gavin also back-to-back second places. He's up to 8th now in the World Championship. But although he missed the podium today, we can also congratulate Danny Holgado, who is confirmed as the Moto2 Rookie of the Year.
Win number 7, a magnificent win number 7 of Moto2 for Jake Dixon. Parting Moto2 on a high, that's for sure. Great job that by positive, emotional. Wasn't like that was here 12 months ago when he really made a big old cock up, didn't he? Coming out the final corner when he thought he'd taken third place. Rolled off and Maddie Tentangrace smashed third place. That's how you make amends. That's how you come back and settle a score with Sepang. Put it on by the Martin Racing team rider. Jack about that emotional victory. Superb by the 29-year-old Murray Baltus. What a story it has been so far as well in 2025. Already Jerez, Le Mans, Aragon, Sachsenring, Brno, and most recently in San Marino. Baltus now in 8th on the 8th career podium. 7th of this incredible 2025 campaign. And it's there another twist. Is another shift in the plot still to come in Portimao and Malaysia. Baltus is only 35 points behind Moreira. I mean, I don't think anybody on planet Earth, maybe bar Baltus himself, would have come into this season. From the World Cup, third place. The other way alongside that one as Dixon, of course, starting Moscura adventure with Mark VDS in lightning form. Wins in round 2 in Argentina and in Austin. We all thought straight away he's going to be a serious title contender. And this one got him far too much inconsistency on the Oscar scorer package as far as Dixon is concerned. He does though jump up into 4th place in the standings. Points clear now of Aaron Canet. Title posts, well, they are disappearing without a trace, aren't they? Canet now, he hasn't won that since Qatar, the Grand Prix now. Gustavo Alonso, so in 2nd place. You see Jake Dixon's wife there, Sarah, with his daughter Summer. Well, this is the move that we were all hoping for as far as new world champion Ozan Pedro-Awaidu is concerned. He is conscious, awake, he's alert. Has a suspension and a fracture and a number of contusions. Of course, Jose Antonio Rueda, the replicating high rider, involved in a significant race crash in Moto3 earlier on today. Still no official update on Noah Deck with it also involved in that incident. Moto2 podium though here at Barry Baltus 3rd, and he's with Jack.
Barry, congratulations, another podium. Tremendous season. Yourself in the title fights as well with 2 rounds to go. How proud of you are you of your efforts there?
Well, mate, it's unbelievable. It's not been actually at this moment that I'm pulling the title at this moment, I would say no way. And yeah, I would like to say thank you to all the people in Europe. It's a hard moment, and yeah, all my family, my girlfriend, all my sisters, I think amazing job, and yeah, this one is for all of them, and yeah, that's the next one.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
7 podiums already so far this year. 21-year-old Belgium. Everybody loves an underdog story, don't they? Everybody loves to see a rider who's struggled to make an impact in the World Championship. Flourish and blossom as Baltus has this season. That was a brief moment where Manu Gonzalez took a top 4 away from him. Gonzalez opening behind him when he crashed out at turn 15 late on. He was able to take advantage. But Danny Holgado through the race on with a fading grip on his Prix tyres. He was doing high 206s and the checker flag was Holgado. Fourth place was top result for him. Back-to-back podiums over the first time in Moto2 career for David Alonso. Second was Jacob Seymour, 625, and he's back.
Coming back-to-back podiums.
I'm happy for this race. I mean, the only thing I want this race is to finish with any issue and just do my warm up. But I am very worried about the two riders of Moto3. I mean, it was really hard this morning to keep the concentration for today. They helped me a lot, the guys of the paddock, because they told me the conditions every minute of the more or less of the riders to know, because I was really worried, and come back strong, you know, and ready, and yeah, this is for both of you. Well, thanks very much, Gavin. Thank you.
Said it many times before, there's just so much to admire about David Alonso, both on and off the track. That was the TV he made late on, then at turn 9, through on his teammate Danny Holgado. Unfortunately, was not able to make it a double Aspar team podium. Jake Dixon still got a lot of close friends inside the Aspar project, which he spent some of his Moto2 career with. Getting ready for what I'm sure is going to be an emotionally charged post-racing game with Jack on the weekend, and he sported special tribute helmet with great granddad Ray. Well, he did granddad proud. What a moment for the Dixon family. What a moment for Jake Dixon, the race winner here in Malaysia and in with Jack.
Jake, I know how desperately you want to see another win in the Grand Prix. You had it, but it must be extra special having done it with your granddad there with you every step of the way. Yeah, 100%. First and foremost, I want to send my best wishes to the boys in Moto3. I wish them all the best, wishes for them, but also this is a massive special tribute to my granddad. He loves Malaysia, he loves you guys, and I need a special helmet for him. I love you, granddad. I love you so much. He told me to you. These letters for you. I love you so much. I love you so much, and I hope I made you proud in that one. Let's go!
Don't worry, Jake, you did your granddad that was super proud. A great moment. As Jake said, first and foremost concern for Jose Antonio Rueda and Noah Tetsuya, the Moto3 at the start of race day. Six members of the fourth place in the World Championship with a very emotional victory. He's penned that special letter to his granddad pre-weekend here, showing exactly what he meant to him. Mango 3, but not for the championship hopes.
With 2 races still to go. Yep. I look cramped, really from the back of the helmet, as they mentioned, Jack. This was a country, Malaysia, that his granddad Ray absolutely adored. Desperately wanted to win for you here, and he was true to his word.
Well, that feels like it was an incredibly significant and incredibly important Moto2 World Championship race in Malaysia. It's always going to be with just 2 points between Moreira and Gonzalez. It was Gonzalez who had the championship advantage coming into that shortened 11 lap Sepang Grand Prix. But a crucial mistake. There's not been too many others to be fair to Gonzalez. Of course, he crashed out of Silverstone, crashed out the Red Bull Ring in Austria, and he's had a nightmare on this overseas swing. He's been placed from pole in the tape disappointment. Of course, he qualified, got some pole bonus points, didn't he, when he was disqualified for the classification in Indonesia. 7th over the line, he's in home in Australia. This is not championship form at all, is it, as far as Gonzalez is concerned. We haven't seen him on the podium since the Balaton Park Grand Prix in Hungary, which was the last time actually Gonzalez found himself leading a Grand Prix. Hello, long time ago. Well, Prix was the last time he took a Grand Prix victory. Game on in the World Championships. He will surely go all the way to Valencia in mid-November, but we're about finished our top three here in Sepang: Dixon, Alonso and Baltus.
Podium ceremony moments away. Those fans who come all the way from the UK or perhaps they're expats who live out here. Certainly got what they came for. Some British success this afternoon. On a day where, of course, all of our thoughts ultimately win. Three to follow. Certainly that's at this moment positive news regarding Jose Antonio. And of course, officially that we can bring you onto a second position. We can't bring it on broadcast before we go off the air. MotoGP.com and MotoGP YouTube channel will tell you the official information as soon as it's available. Well, Mark VS, their first victory was third under the season, only not successful. Barry Baltus kept waiting yet more for victory. Still, title contender. Round to go. Outscored Diogo Moreira by 9 points in Portimao, who actually got a Malaysian with a chance of winning the championship. So amazing his season has been. Jadwal second place. But a victory worth a lot more than 25 points for Jake Dixon today, who carries his course of summer leading onto the podium as he scored from here. A couple of rounds to go when he finished second in Japan. So Summer gets to find out what the top step of a Moto2 podium looks like. Took the prize off the score roll course winners today. Congratulations to them and to Mark VS. Of course, welcome to new riders for next season in Aaron Smith and Denny Sunju. And Barry Baltus, 7th podium of the season, 40 number 7. And the big championship yet. 5 riders still mathematically in the race. 2 to go. David Alonso, correctly said that the Rookie of the Year has been decided. Forgive us, it has been a long day. Danny Holgado hasn't quite wrapped that up yet. A couple of points to do that. David Alonso, sure again, title contender in 2026. Back-to-back podiums for him for the first time in Moto2. There is going to be summer that lifts the winning trophy. But it's rather heavy as FIS Vice President Jumat will present the trophy. Jake Dixon jumps for joy. He promised victory to dedicate to his grandfather Ray, and Jake Dixon delivered. International circuit here in Malaysia. On the flight back home, which is what is Sabah, the Chile or Total, home for Jake Dixon in the UK. He goes home as a Sepang race winner. Recruiting buddy there, takes the trophy. Ongoing summer as well. The third and Sunday were then here in Sepang. Jake Dixon then was the winner. 1 seconds clear of David Alonso. Barry Baltus rounding out the top 3. As we round out our overseas, our Asia Oceania Tour of 2025. Now, comes up to the MotoGP.
into that running Moto2 battle, enjoying racing along with James Dixon.
What a dramatic day it was in the Moto2 title chase. When we look back on Sunday, October 26th, was the day decisively to the Moto2 championship. Jadwal Moreira's place. But 3-6 for the winner in Australia collected today. Jadwal also back to back second point in Barry Bowden. 7th point in the title race. Danny Holgado, 4 times on the brink now of rookie of the year. Jadwal Moreira on the brink of the title after taking fifth there as Alvaro Reina. Daniel Munoz after dramatic day for him, 7th. And 3-8 there via Arbolino, Jimmy Navarra, Ortolo Lopez, and just 1 point for Aaron Canet, whose championship is surely over. Manny Gonzalez, 25th after remounting from this crash. He now trails Jadwal Moreira for the first time all season. First time, Jadwal Moreira leads the Moto2 World Championship. Wins the Portuguese Grand Prix, and Manu Gonzalez is 8th or lower. Moreira is champion next weekend. Barry Bowden 3rd, still McMahon winning the race. Andy said 6th. Aaron Canet also still in the race, but he's 43.5, just 15 left to play for. Champions in Moto2, off the score though. Racing closing on the championship today, 4 points there advantage over the Komodo side of Tissot GP, which is 90 points left to play for. Leading away from pole position. The Moto2 race, of course, delayed from earlier in the day due to the nasty accident before the Moto3 Grand Prix got underway. Ricardo and Alonso, Moto3 through the first corner, but coming out of the last corner, a lap or two into the race. Theo Roberts had a big crash, and his bicycle was through from the side of the racetrack. Coming out of the final corner, the race was forced to a halt. Second time around, of course, short distance of 11 laps, which took the pressure on Jadwal Moreira, coming from the 6th row of the grid. Ricardo once again inverting pole into the lead at turn 1. Dixon having to fight hard to hold off a Reina, pushed around the outside of the brake. This is turn 11, 40.96. Gave off the chase serve, Danny Holgado. On the front set, turn 4. Alonso taking second to his teammate Danny Holgado, who was later returned to Barry Bowden. The big moment of the Grand Prix, without question, coming for Manny Gonzalez. Holgado made no mistake in the final corner. Gonzalez down 2, and with that goal, well, Always played Bowden finally did take that third place to Danny Holgado, which keeps him in mathematical title contention. Hopes alive with second place today. Jake Dixon, though, your winner. Danny Holgado closing in on rookie of the year in 2025. Jadwal Moreira closing in on the World Championship, which could be clinched second time out. best wishes for a speedy recovery for Jose Antonio Rueda and for Noah Jetfiler. They are in our thoughts today. Send them all the very best, and we wish you a very good evening. Goodbye from
you.